Does it work now?
Yep.
Is it up? Right. See if it stays up this time then. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to PSGL Season 25, Round 7 at Germany. I'm your commentator, IRL Neon. I'm also joined by my co-commentator, Felix, us F3YLHD. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm very glad to be here for the second week in a row now.
Well, it'll be for the rest of the season, of course. Don't know what I'm doing next season or what you're doing next season.
Hopefully it's gonna stay like that.
True. So right now then, we're on board with Ash, who is the first one out on a lap. Apologies for the stream being a little bit late. I did have a few issues signing in. 3 times it failed. And I will go over the qualifying prediction then. I believe today it's going to go Lickle, Callum, possibly Ushin, possibly as well. And then I'm going to go with Cherry in 4th. I think that's going to be my prediction for today, as Ash is already invalidated on his lap. So it's game over for him then.
That's not a good start for him. We see many different tyre compounds right now on track. We have a few guys out on softs. We have many people out on the medium compound. So it's going to be interesting to see. We'll take pole. Obviously, if people start on different tyre compounds, that might switch up things a little bit.
Yep, that is true, of course, as I believe Cherry isn't on a lap. It's actually Paresh who's on a lap right now in the Renault on the hard compound of tyres. Also, you cannot, I believe turn 10, turn 15, you cannot exceed track limits.
Yeah,
at all.
exactly.
So try and guys watch out for that, because if you do get caught, you may be penalised. However, we'll go on board with Paresh now as he takes turn 15. Nice and tidy there. Goes for the fast race. He's got a slow McLaren ahead. That was luckily on the right side. If it was on the left, that could have been a bit of contact possibly, but Pressure at the moment is keeping a nice clean and tidy lap on those hard compound of tyres.
Looked like a decent lap so far. Nico, meanwhile. Yeah. Can he get faster than Nico? No, he can't. About 6 tenths off. That's not what he wants to see. He's obviously in the Renault. I think the Ferrari and Mercedes powered cars will have a bigger advantage on the long straight, which is basically kind of a parabolic corner. It's not really a straight. I mean, it's a long corner, and Callum goes quickest so far, and he's in a Honda powered car. That is surprising because the Honda is the slowest engine in this game.
As Lodi was invalid, then what about Tim? Tim goes to 5th with a 114.3. A bit slower than his teammate actually in Greeny by a couple of hundredths there, off Greeny by 9 thousandths of a second. As Jamie's saying, Grumps is going to win in his opinion. And good evening, Big C. Welcome. As right now we will go on board with Charity Pie, who's currently finished up on his lap. He's on a soft compound of tyres, so I believe if he is going to make this count, he will be on pole.
Boomer goes fastest.
Ooh, Cherry's backed off there, made a mistake, and he's actually backed off to do a banker for representative. Goes 8th for 15 flat. As Alfie's
only 2 tenths off with slowing down at the end. That's not too bad. But obviously he was on the softs. Fro, meanwhile, actually puts in his lap on the soft compound. I'm pretty sure most people would want to qualify on the mediums or either the hards to make the one-stop work. It's pretty difficult to do it on the soft, if I remember correctly. But Boomer Jarrett, he has been demoted. Let's say he was deemed too quick last week out when he took the race win in the Ferrari in Silverstone.
Oh, he's in the Red Bull.
Yeah, he now is in the Red Bull, which I guess that will hinder him on the straight because the Honda engine is not really helping there. But hopefully he will still be able to show off his pace. Right now it's looking not too bad, about 5 tenths in front of his teammate Callum, who's currently on the slowest set of tyres.
As here comes Mr. Grimland to the line. Takes 3rd with a 113.3, splits the Red Bulls. There's also, yeah, you are right with being maybe getting them up, but also Callum Anderson got the Honda powered car, but they're not doing bad, especially with the engine. They could be up there, possibly fighting for win, possibly, if the faster cars and the Merc and the Ferrari do make mistakes, of course. However, though, right now we will go on board with Daniel Bacon, who actually used to fight in F5. He's currently on an invalid lap, actually, so he isn't on a good lap. Lordy's backed off.
Yeah, Lordy's backed off. He was on a flying lap before. What's with Cowboy? He's invalidated as well.
Ash on a lap, mate, if you want to finish that off right now, as he's currently purple in
What
sector
did you
2.
say? Ash?
Yeah.
Let me just quickly switch onto him. Yes, he is coming down into the Sachs curve, the famous corner where Sebastian Vettel crashed in 2018. A very sad moment for most German fans, but now he's coming around the final two corners. No, he's not. He's diving into the pit lane on his set of soft, so I guess that was just a warm-up lap more or less for him. So he gets used to the track, gets used to the conditions, and it seems like there's not going to be any rain, as most people are out on the hard or medium compound of tyres.
That's true, of course, as Mr. Grumpy's actually going to be on a proper lap now if you want to go on board him, as he's about to hit turn 1.
Yes, I will switch on to him right now. Nope, that is the wrong Ferrari actually. That is the right Ferrari on the medium compound right now. He already set a lap on his medium tyre, is now on his way for his second lap. Gets the slipstream from his teammate Dino, which will definitely help his straight line speeds. He's currently 2/10 behind the other medium runner of Boomer at the moment. So that might make a big difference in top end speeds, as he's gone around the hairpin after the long straight. That looked pretty tidy, very nice lap so far. Shifting down into third gear through here. You are not allowed to track extend in this right-hander right here of turn 15, as Jared has said. Already coming down into the last sector, he goes purple in the second sector. That might be a glitch though, as the game usually shows that for basically everyone. But I will just believe that for a second as he goes around the Sachs curve, the left-hander, the right-hander, which is fully flat, and then this very tricky last section of the track with a double right-hander, where you really have to clip the apex, maximize your exit. He comes across the line to improve his lap by a 10th, but he stays behind Boomer for first, so it's still P3 for the Ferrari driver. But remember, he is on the medium compound.
Yep, that is true, of course. Right now then, we'll go on board with Dre. Will Dre actually be on a lap though on the soft compound? Only 2 people have qualified on, well, actually only one person actually qualified on the softs, and that's From, who's currently in pole right now, sitting up there top by a couple of tenths though, not a lot of a gap to Boomer, as Boomer is on the mediums, of course. As we did say, the Ferrari and the Mercedes will be good on the straight line section, but the final sector is basically Red Bull Haven, where with all the corners and that, where they could gain a bit of that time back what they lost on the straight.
That is actually true. I mean, the Red Bulls have a great amount of downfalls, not only in real life, but on this game as well. One of the few things the game is actually accurate on. As someone has moved up, I think that was Cowboy, yes, he's moved up into P6 with that lap on the hard compound. That is not looking too bad for him. 113.8, just 2,000 in front of the Mercedes driver of Suddy, who dives into the pit lane on his set of hard compounds. And I think we've got Bugatti on a lap if you want to take that one.
Well, I'm currently on Nana Bacon right now, but
he just backed down, backed off.
Well, Nana Bacon now is finishing through the final sector. The Haas hasn't got the best packages to the car. The Haas isn't the best car actually to drive actually, but let's see what Nana Bacon can do with the Haas, as I think that's the best looking livery we've seen. What the Haas have done since actually this season. Actually, the Haas does look nice. Here comes Nana Bacon then, 14 flat, promotes himself to P9 then. On a set of hard competitive tyres.
Just in front of Tim as well, only 100 of a second, so it's looking very close in the midfield, similar to what we had last week. Ocean in the meantime goes P9, also with a 114 flat, just a few hundreds in front of those two guys behind him as well. So yeah, Jared. I mean, last week we already had it pretty tight in the midfield, and it looks like this weekend is going to be no different. As From has actually put in a new fastest lap for this quali session, and
Oh, yeah, it
Lickle is currently on a lap. He's coming down into the hairpin now. Shifts down into first, then short shifts up to third, and then just the normal gearing. And Tim Hall has left the session, which is not really good.
I don't think Lickle will improve that much, especially that he's done 6 laps on those hards. I'm quite surprised a lot of people have gone that long on the hard competitive tyre. Because I would have waited a little bit on the time, probably 4 minutes, and then gone out on the hards, and then.
He's 1/10 up though, right now, coming into the last sector of the track. Now that double right-hander, like I said, very tricky. Shifts down into third for the extra turning. Then short shifts up to fifth, comes across the line. Can he actually improve? Yes, he can, by just over a tenth. And he is indeed faster than AMS, who is currently on the medium compound. He has been recently demoted to F4 from F3. I don't know if that was actually his own choice to do so. So I don't want to say anything wrong here, but he's definitely gone down into F4 lately.
Yeah, AMS. I mean, we're roughly the same pace, but sometimes just being unlucky. And I think F4 is actually a good shout for him, especially to get his motivation back up and possibly score some wins. It is a very competitive tier, F4 of course, but this is FP. As Cherry Pie is going to be on a lap next, or he's going to come into the pits. He will actually be on a lap next lap, as Amos says he demoted himself. So here comes Cherry Pie then. Let's see how he takes turn 1. Lifts up a little bit just so he can make it, and he invalidates straight away. That's a tricky part of this section. You need to not cut the corner, but cut as much as you can into turn 1. Like, yeah, just within track limits.
You can actually cut a bit on the inside, but not that much. But you can absolutely not track extend on the outside, at least not in quali. It will immediately invalidate your lap. In real life, it's something different. You are actually allowed to go a bit over the line, but you're not allowed to go over the curb. The game, unfortunately, doesn't have that implemented. But the steward's communication actually said that track limits into turn 1 will not be monitored because the game already does it for you. So I think we will see a lot of penalties coming in into turn 1 in this race. So I think time penalties will play a big part in this one.
Oh yeah, it will of course. Obviously time penalties anywhere can prove a big part. Right now we are on board with Mr. Grumpy, who's near the Mercedes Grandstand on a set of soft compounded tyres. Right now, let's see what he's up on his sector time. Entering now sector 3, he's 8/10 up right now, so he would, if he does his lap, take pole position then. As he's on a mission right now in the Ferrari to stop from in the McLaren. See what time he will do then.
Not the best run through the penultimate corner, but will it be enough for him to take provisional pole? Comes across the line, and yes it is. A 12.3 for the Ferrari driver. I think that could have been a bit better with a cleaner third sector, but I think that lap until that point was pretty decent from his side, which obviously shows in the timing tables.
Well, there's Dino in the other Ferrari. Let's see what time he will set. Apparently he's up by 9 thousandths, but he was actually up by a little bit more there. 3/10 up, goes him into P11 now, as I believe Lordy was on an out lap. But I believe his teammate... Oh, is Nana Baker on that lap? Yeah, Nana as well is on that lap, but Dre isn't, who's in between these two. Let's see what Dre then will do through the final few sectors then. And he doesn't tell what he's up because he hasn't done a lap yet, but he's apparently purple.
Now for this one here, this one is especially tricky because you need to get a good exit to get the momentum into these very fast left-right corners. And then you can track extend, as far as I know, into the last corner, and he goes fourth fastest. A very solid time for Dre so far, with 2:50 left on the clock. I don't know if that's accurate, because sometimes it shows something different for the spectators actually.
Yeah, it'll probably be still like 3 minutes and 10 for the drivers. But that was a very good section there. I don't know if Germany's actually a pad track. I don't think it is, because it would be good for me to know since I am now reverting to wheel after this season. In PSGL 3 I will still stay at pad, of course, because I need to be up there. As we're on board Nano Bacon then, he's 4 and a bit tenths up on his lap. He goes through the fast right hand of my favourite part of the track. Oh, but he makes a mistake, somehow doesn't invalidate, and that's going to cost probably a couple of tenths. May back off and do another run, as there's 2 minutes remaining roughly of the session, as he comes around the final couple of corners then. In the house, he's currently in 14th. Oh, that was a bit of lag. Goes 5th, 113.3.
Very impressive so far. But remember, we still got Callum and Lickle waiting in the line. And Lickle is actually now about to start maybe his final run, if the timing is correct. A very nice run through the first corner. He clips the apex perfectly, slightly cuts it, but that was alright. Boomer retires from the session in P3 at the moment, so he will definitely start on the medium compound if he stays inside the top 10, which I'm pretty sure he will.
And second. 12-4.
Oh yeah, Lodi in the other Haas, so the Haas drivers are doing really well so far. Lickle, meanwhile, didn't quite get the slipstream on the long straight, now comes into the hairpin. Short shift up, back into third, which we saw earlier on his lap as well. He's coming up to the Mercedes grandstand now, the left-hander where Vettel nearly lost his second place last year in the wet race, in that crazy German GP race we've had. And he's up by 5 tenths right now. That will be a major improvement for him. That will put him P4 for the moment if he actually stays with that amount of pace, but maybe he can even improve a bit more through the last 2 corners. He comes now down into 4th, not even 3rd on the medium compound. He comes around the final corner. Let's see what he can do. He goes 3rd fastest actually, in front of Frome, who is on the soft tyre at the moment, but I think Frome has still got a lap to do. Yes, he is currently on a flying lap. If you don't have anything else you want to commentate about, then you could take Frome, who's currently on the long straight.
Okay then, and Frome is on the long straight as you've said then. He's getting a bit of slipstream from the Williams, only a tiny bit though, and I believe that's Greeny who is ahead of him, I believe, on a lap. As if you could keep an eye on Ash at best, I believe, who's a few cars behind Felix, who hasn't set a lap yet, but may set a lap soon, as actually Matt has actually retired, as he usually does, and starts from the back and makes his way through the field. See how well Matt can do today. However, though, let's see how Frome is then in Sector 2 on those soft tyres. Only 1200s up on his time, so he ain't gained a lot. He needs to gain a little bit more if he wants to try and beat Lickle and try and take that 3rd place. But he's not getting help with that Williams in front of him right now, who is also on a lap. Here comes down through the final couple of corners. How much time will he lose? Oh, that Williams has gone off and made a mistake. He's into the wall. Frome improves though. By 500.
Takes back his 3rd place.
But sorry, by 800s there. He's actually done a 12.5 exactly there. So Lickle had his chance.
On board with Ash, who comes around the final corner now. He crosses the line to go 5th fastest. 4 tenths behind Lickle at the moment. And as we don't have many drivers on the lap still, we've got Callum Anderson coming around the final corner now. He comes across the line to take 5th from Ash, actually, in the Sister Toro Rosso car.
And I think Mr. Grumpy improved.
And that's quality over for you. Mr. Grumpy takes pole position in the Ferrari.
Yeah, he did. He did improve. So there's a good lap then. The Ferrari of Mr. Grumpy does take the lead then in quali, as Jamie did say. He's a favourite to win. Wow. Yeah, the Ferrari may have been too quick for him.
But wow. Just keep in mind, Lickle is in 4th and only 6 tenths behind, even though he is on a slower compound. So I think the difference between the soft and the medium is quite big in Germany here. But we've got most guys inside the top 10 starting on mediums then. Only the top 3 on the soft compound. And it's going to be a Ferrari, Haas and McLaren. We've got not a single Mercedes inside the top 10. That's not what the German fans here at Hockenheim want to see, I think.
Well, yeah, you are correct there. And I'm quite surprised, actually, with the top 3 going on softs then.
Definitely an interesting choice, I'd say. They probably have to commit to the 2-stop, but that couldn't be. That might not be a dumb decision at all because, like we all know with this game, since some patches within the last few months, we definitely have got a lot higher chances for a safety car. And especially with the difference in performance in terms of the cars, we might see some unexpected slowly cars going around the circuit, maybe through turn one or something. A car that hasn't got that much downforce, for example, Williams, that might catch people out. But the chance for a safety car here in Germany is quite high, I think. At least in real life it is. I hope it is in the game as well. But hopefully we can see some proper racing as well.
Yeah, that is true, of course. And let's see what everyone's gone out of who didn't make it in the top 10 then. On tyres, Paresh is on mediums. Nano Bacon on hards with 14th, with Chepai also on AMS on hard tyres. Then it's Sutty on mediums, Dino also on hards, and then Tim on mediums, and then the bottom three are also on hards then. So then we will go down the grid order since we didn't go down it on the end of quali, as Felix was giving you some interesting facts right now, as we will go on board then with Mr. Grumpy, who did qualify pole. Lordy in second, From in third in the McLaren on the soft tyre, these three. So if they get a good start, they're going to need to pull away within the first couple of laps, especially to break that DRS tour from Lickle, who's in fourth, Callum Anderson in fifth in the Red Bull, Ash in sixth, TMC Cowboy in seventh, Boomer, who won at Britain, is in eighth then, Dre is in ninth in the Racing Point, Ushin in 10th, Paresh in 11th, Anna Bacon in the Haas 12th, AMS 13th, Cherry 2 Pie in 14th. The Mercedes, especially when this is their home track, in 15th, Dino 16th, Tim Hall in 17th in the Renault. And surprisingly, the Williams team, 18th and 19th, Bugatti and Greeny, very surprised they were actually that far back, especially with that engine power they have. And then Matt, who didn't qualify, is in 20th.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely have to keep an eye on Lico. He might be the man to beat today. I mean, he's got the strategic advantage most likely if the safety car doesn't come in play. I mean, the top three qualified on the soft compound, like we said, so they probably have to commit to the two stop, as Lico can go to the end on the one stop. But Callum Anderson not far behind him either, and as you said, with the Red Bull being extremely fast through the last sector, with their high downforce and great chassis they've got, he might be in the fight for the win today as well.
Yep, that is true, of course, and we could see actually the top three stay out till lap 8 and possibly go the hards to the end, as Jamie did give us some interesting information that he took hards from lap 7 all the way to the end with 90% on him. Have a look, will be going to start at the back of the light sequence. If Felix, you can look at the back of the grid when they start. As we're now to 2 lights, 3 red lights, now 4, now 5 red lights. Wait for them to go off so we can start the race. And they're off, and the race has begun then. The Ferrari has an okay start. There's a lot of wheel spin, but look at From. He's on the outside there of Lordy. And actually a few of the guys going a bit off track there, but they would have already got wanted in the start then. Here comes Lickle. Overtakes From lets him through as there's a big dive for one of the Red Bulls. That's Callum Anderson there, who's making it. Oh, and From's off. From is off. That, I don't know, has he got damage? I didn't see what happened there. All I saw is his car spinning.
At the back, they definitely kept it clean, but if I can just take over for a minute, we've got such a 3-wide situation coming down into the hairpin now. Ocean has to take avoiding action, nearly goes off the track, as we've got some contact, and Ocean and Nano Bacon have made contact, and Nano Bacon is into the wall. The Haas driver has dropped down massively, and I'm pretty sure he's got front wing damage now. As have we got a safety car? No, we haven't. Matt Romano somehow managed to survive all that with any damage done so far. And we've got a side-by-side moment there with AMS and Cherry 2 Pie. They keep it clean into turn 11, that is. And AMS gets the position from Cherry 2 Pie. I think that was also down to his engine power he's got behind his back. But Lico is still very close to the Haas of Lordy right now. Only 7 tenths behind, but look at Mr. Grumpy. He's already formed a gap of 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, that is true though. Remember, he is in the Ferrari engine power. However, I've got some interesting information on Lordy. I did see him track extend out of turn 15 slightly, so he needs to be careful as he doesn't want to get penalised. We're looking now in third place, as you did say. It's not that far behind, but the drivers at the top two are starting to do their job, starting to pull away with to try and get that DRS break. As Cam Anderson is in 4th then, so Cam Anderson's had a better run than the Red Bull driver Boomer, who's in 7th then. So basically they've just switched positions. And actually there's a bigger fight.
And let's just quickly talk about the Williams guys. They've had a great start. I mean, Bugatti's already up into 10th place, starting 18th, and Greeny's up into 12th, starting 19th, as far as I know. And they've had a great start, obviously, from the big loser out of that first lap incident, crashing through turn 2. I don't know if he made contact. You had a pretty good look on that, I think. Ocean has dropped 5 spots as he had to take some avoiding action coming down into the hairpin, and also Nano Bacon, like I said, he made contact with Ocean, so yeah, he's dropped down massively as well. But AMS has had a great start as well, gained 4 spots, is already up into P9 at the moment, and yeah, great start by the Williams guys.
Yellows, and that's Tim retiring into the pit, so Tim has given up then in the Renault, so that is our first retirement, the 20. And as the other Renault has one board right now, he's not that far from Bugatti or as Alfie in 10th in the Williams though, and that Mercedes engine will just be helping him with that strip. There's actually a bigger battle further ahead. It's actually Boomer and Dre, who I actually didn't catch on with that, as it looked like they were side by side there. Boomer possibly lost position from Dre, as the field's quite close, further behind on the track.
I mean, we've got a lot of close gaps between the drivers. I mean, Lico is quite close to Lordi at the moment, only 4 tenths behind. He might go for an overtake. Both are in Ferrari-powered cars, and also Ash Best is very close to Callum Anderson, and Cowboys are only just sitting behind them as well. So we've got a lot of interesting battles coming up now, with the DRS being enabled on this lap already. So on the next lap they also have DRS. And look at Lickle, he's only 3 tenths behind Lordi right now, and he seems to nail turn 1 every single lap so far. He was going really quickly through there in quali as well, as he's coming into turn 2 now. Let's see, maybe he can get a move done. He's only 2 tenths behind. That looks very promising. He gets a great run out of turn 3. He goes side by side with him, and he takes P2. Well, that's as easy as taking candy from a baby. I mean, he just flew past him on the straight, and is now already up into P2. And in the background we've got Callum Anderson.
Yeah, Callum Anderson loses a position, and he's going to have to be careful. Cowboy's not that far from him there, but that move on Lordi and Lickle, that looked really way too easy. Just like Lordi didn't want to defend, and that might also mean that his tyres becoming an issue now, because Lickle is caught quite quickly within 4 laps just to stay behind and get the move done on that 4.
Yeah, and also in the background, we didn't mention that because we were focusing on the battle for the front positions, but Bugatti's lost a spot. He's dropped outside the points again, and Ocean has dropped a place there as well to Greeny, who is now up into 12th place. So Bugatti's only just outside the points, but he's still managing to keep up with Parrish, who's only just behind AMS as well. So it seems like AMS hasn't got the best pace. Obviously he's on the hard compound, so that won't help him either.
That's true, of course. Look how close Parrish is now then on AMS. AMS is in trouble if he is on different compounded tyre, of course, though. And here comes the Renault.
Oh,
whoa,
no!
What's Parrish doing? Parrish just loses it on the brakes and just rear ends AMS there, and that is basically kind of karma. You got wing damage because of it. You need to be a bit careful on your brakes, and he loses the position out of Bugatti, so Bugatti is now back into 10th. So that is good for him in the Williams, but will Parrish go for a lunge into the hairpin? No, he stays.
Oh, in the background we've got Greeny and Ocean going side by side. Yes, Ocean takes the place away from Greeny again and moves up into P12 for the moment. That will be P11 probably, as Paresh will probably dive into the pit lane with his front wing damage. But I think he just underestimated how early you have to brake on those hard compound of tyres. Obviously they don't have as much grip as the mediums got, so yeah, I think that was just a misjudgment of the braking right there, and yeah, he was the big loser in that situation. As Greeny outbrakes himself. Sadi goes for a half-hearted move into the Sachs curve, but doesn't make it stick.
Yeah, that was a very aggressive move there from Sutty there. It was basically where Vettel did lose it in 2018. which unfortunately wasn't not your favourite moment in that Grand Prix at Germany, but it was
Definitely
mine.
not.
As Greeny then has managed to pull away, but so he's not in trouble from Dino now, as Dino's going to make a move into turn 2 on the inside of the Ferrari.
And we've got a big slipstream
there's a
train
big fight
right here
Ash.
as Ashbest goes for a move on Lordy down the inside into the hairpin,
turned
small
in.
contact made, and Ash goes past Lordy, who's struggling with his soft compound, it seems like, and the Red Bull of Callum Anderson is just waiting behind that, waiting for a mistake from Lordy.
Well, yeah, that is true, of course, but don't count out Lickle here, because Lickle has pulled a big gap now to Ash, now 2.5 seconds. Lickle's
yes, he has.
really on Mr. Grumpy now, and these soft tyres are starting to fail.
And by the way, just take a look at the amount of ERS Lickle has left. I mean, he's got 78% left. Surely that's enough to pass Mr. Grumpy right here on the upcoming lap. But no, Mr. Grumpy dives into the pit lane. And we've got a yellow flag, and that's Dino, the other Ferrari, out of the race. I think he's crashed, out of turn 10, I think. Maybe went a bit too wide there and lost the car on the curb.
Yeah, he has that. Out of turn 11 there, he's lost it on the curb, as you say. So that's unfortunate, and it was very close to the Vettel area. Yeah,
but look at Callum. He's right behind Lordy right now, who's still struggling with his soft compound of tyres. Callum goes side by side with him. Obviously has the worst engine, but there goes Cowboy. Can he go for a double overtake? No, he can't. Lordy defends the inside line, even goes into neutral, shoves Callum off the track. That was a bit clumsy, and Cowboy says thank you very much and takes the spot from both of them. And Lordy has got front wing damage, and there goes Callum down the inside, a very late move, and he cuts the inside corner and gets a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, in the background, his Red Bull teammate actually made up a spot and takes P6, so both Red Bulls now up into P5 and 6, or down into P6 rather, for Callum.
Yeah, that is true, of course. I'm just going to put my opinion on that move. That was kind of silly there from Lordy, as he could do the switch back, but unfortunately, Callum's just rear-ended now.
No!
As that is damage to his front wing. As I don't know what these two are doing, as now we will go on board a Boomer then. I think both from a bit hot-headed, as actually that's a Toro Rosso in the
Cherry
yellow
2
sector.
Pie.
Cherry's had a bit of wing damage, so is his medium starting to fall off then?
Down the inside goes Dre on Callum, who's obviously got the front wing damage now. They are side by side coming through turn 3 now towards the DRS straight. Both have got the DRS, but I think it's going to be Dre who comes out on top out of this battle. Up front there's Boomer trying to make a move on Lordy as well. Boomer goes down the inside, makes the move stick. What about Dre? Can he make the move stick? Yes, he will. That Mercedes power definitely helped him, as Lordy loses it, goes onto the grass and loses both positions to both cars behind and drops down to P7. It's gone from bad to worse for Lordy right now, and the Haas-Strap is really struggling with tyre wear and his front wing damage.
Yeah, that is true, of course. If I was Lordy, I'd just pit right now because it's costing too much time. And look at that, he's basically a train going 20 miles an hour, and that race point's going 100 miles an hour compared to the speed they're doing right now. Amos just wants to get past. He's going on the outside. Lordy don't give him that much room, but Bugatti's been very smart, patient, and waiting for these two possibly to make contact so he can get an easy move done.
That was close. That was really close.
It's Lordy pitting. Lordy's staying out for another lap. I don't know what he's playing at. This is very silly.
I think he's trying to be able to pit onto a compound, which will get him to the end. He doesn't want to commit to the two-stop.
The hards could go to the end now. Here comes Bugatti then. Bugatti's now making a move on the inside. You can just see the grip difference compared to the hards and softs now. And here comes Bugatti. Bugatti says thank you very much. And now Paresh is next. Paresh is going to do the switch. He makes it look beautiful there and already gets the move done before the DRS.
What a great move there by Paresh. I mean, a beautifully executed switchback, and Mr. Grumpy is very close to the Mercedes of Sutty. Will he go down the inside into the hairpin? He's quite far back. Yes, he goes down the inside still. Can he slow the car down enough? Yes, he can. No contact made. Beautiful move from the Ferrari driver, who overtakes the Mercedes and moves himself up into P12. And we've got another spin from Cherry 2 Pie in the last sector now. And currently, Lickle is running away with it. He is already 3 seconds in the lead. Paresh has lost the place again.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that I missed that, but he's lost front wing and the place. But he now executes another beautiful switchback as Lodi tries to hang it around the outside. He should have backed out there, but Lodi's just losing time every single lap.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's costing him time himself and the other drivers. Now here comes the Williams. Now I would never usually say a person to take a move into turn 1, and that's Greeny. Greeny's now in the position, and look how much time Lodi's losing. I don't know what scenario the Haas team have got planned right now, but is he waiting for a safety car?
Oh, a late move by the Ferrari, but Mr. Grumpy gets past. His moves are very aggressive, but they are with enough commitment that they are actually working. The other drivers are playing the game as well, so they leave enough room. And in the meantime, by the way, Callum has made a pit stop as Sutty tries to go down the inside of Lodi as well. Can't make the move stick, but I'm very sorry that I missed that, what happened to Parrish there, but he definitely got some front wing damage. That might have been contact with Lodi before.
Yeah, that is true. Of course, here comes Sutty then on the inside. Lodi has to be careful that he doesn't get more wing damage, and now he just lets Ushin through. Like, he was basically, that's maybe Ushin maybe quicker or something. I don't know what Lodi's really doing, to be honest. As I'm going to go on board with Gatti now, as he's not that far off AMS in the racing point.
In the meantime, I'm just keeping an eye on the fight for P8 at the moment, as that's very close.
Oh, yeah,
Parrish dives into the pit lane for a new front wing and a tyre change. Mr. Grumpy gets past Greeny now on the main straight. I don't think Greeny will fight it. No, he won't. Nicely executed move there from Mr. Grumpy. Lodi picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. This race is not really going Lodi's way at the moment, is it? But Mr. Grumpy seems to try his best to actually make the two-stop strategy work. But remember, all these guys in front have to make as many pit stops as he has to make. So yeah, that definitely won't be easy. I mean, he's 17 seconds off the lead at the moment, and that won't be coming down too much if he is in as much traffic as he was before.
That is true, of course, and there's no way those mediums can go to the end, so he will be doing another stop then.
Bugatti is close to AMS. I think we could see an overtake within the next few laps. Both are on the same compound. So AMS and Bugatti are doing a great job so far. I mean, they're in P6 and 7 respectively on the hard compound, 4.9 seconds behind Ray, and remember, they will be quicker than those guys in front most likely on their second stint. They are pitting onto the medium compound.
Yeah, that is true, of course. As Lloyd then didn't do that well then after that pit stop. He's in 16th now, was near the top. Kind of say it's a bit of instant karma with certain moves he did. He's in 16th though, so Bugatti then is not that far off AMS. Can't get the job done yet though, he's still not close enough. And this is where the racing point is a bit better than the Williams compared to the aero package they have. Is this the only battle we have which is close?
Yeah, Oshin is not too far away from Sutty either, who outbrakes himself into the hairpin, gets a better exit though. But right now, within the top 5, we always have a gap of at least 1.5 seconds, and Lickle is controlling the race at the moment. Fair play to him. I mean, he's 3.4 ahead right now of Ash, who is on the same compound, but obviously in a car that has slower straight line speeds, as Lickle dives into the pit lane for his probably one and only stop onto the hard compound. So where will he come out? Cowboy dives into the pit lane as well. Let's see where Lickle comes out. He definitely fits the hards as expected. Took a bit of time for him to leave the pit lane on my screen, but I'm pretty sure it was just a glitch. He comes out the pit lane. He is only just behind Mr. Grumpy, but he still has to make another pit stop.
That's true, of course, and he was actually ahead of. Actually, no, Mr. Grumpy was ahead a little bit earlier, so that undercut then saved Mr. Grumpy on the medium compound. And if he somehow managed to make those mediums go to the end, will be quite a surprise. Now Lickle's not having it though. Lickle's going on the inside into the hairpin, and they see each other. And yep, the move is being done quite easily there from Lickle. Now
very nice move, I gotta say. I mean, there was not a lot of space left on the inside, but he still went for it and made the move stick very nicely indeed. But fair play to both of these drivers. That was very fair and clean racing. as Jure in the meantime has caught up to Boomer and is only 1 second behind him right now. But let's see who will dive into the pit lane. Ash does it. Boomer stays out. So does Dre. I don't know what they're waiting for. If they just want to have fresher tyres till the end, or if they are actually hoping for a safety car or anything.
Yeah, that is true though, of course. There could be a safety car as Lickle hasn't escaped that much right now from Mr. Grumpy.
Well, let's see where Ash comes out. Will he be in front of Greeny? No, he won't. He is behind him, and that will cost him time in the fight against Lickle, as Stotty nearly hits the back of the Toro Rosso in front of him. And Ash will now try to pass Greeny as quickly as he can. Can he make it stick on this lap already? It looks like he can. He's gaining quite a lot. Yellow's in sector 1. That's Prush, yeah, out of turn 1. But Ash goes down the inside, and we have a VSC. That could be... If that stays out long enough, Boomer and Jure might be in a very good position. Because they wouldn't lose as much time as under normal racing speeds. So they might want to pit this lap if the safety car if the VSC actually stays out a bit longer. AMS picks up a 3-second time penalty. That is not good for him. But let's see, Boomer slows down for his Delta. He dives into the pit lane, so does Dre.
So these two are in then. VSC still
that definitely helped them. 100%. I mean, they are already slowing down. Even though if the VSC now comes in, they still haven't lost as much time as they usually would. AMS gets in the lead of this race now, as he has not pitted yet. But let's just quickly see, where does Boomer come out? He is behind the Alfa Romeo of Ocean.
Yeah, that is right, and it just goes green, green, green now, as the VSC has ended then. As there's battles all over the place right now. Bugatti really wants to win this race, or try and take the lead of it at the moment, as he's not that far off AMS. These two, however, still need to make a pit stop, and the net leads behind him don't. So he tries to switch. Will he get the traction? Unfortunately he doesn't, but he's still there. He's got a good run. Could possibly see this in the Mercedes grandstand then.
But after the pit stops, the gaps have closed down quite a lot. Obviously now the leaders are right in the pack at the moment. Lico is stuck behind Bugatti, it looks like, at the moment. Mr. Grumpy is only just behind him, so Lico has regained the position from Mr. Grumpy right after the pit stops. Obviously we saw that, but he hasn't managed to actually extend the gap again to the Ferrari driver. So he will try to get past those two guys in front of him as quickly as he can. But currently he's being held up massively by Bugatti, who hasn't made his pit stop yet.
Yep, that is true. Don't count out Mr. Grumpy though, he's not that far off. Could get a run on Lickle. And Lickle needs to be careful, because this could cost him later on in the race, especially if he does have to actually make a second stop. Here comes Lickle then, on Bugatti. Makes the move on the inside. Bugatti's not really defending as much. And he runs deep. And look at Mr. Grumpy being very smart. Oh, Lickle almost loses it by Bugatti there, actually touching his rear end. And there you go, Mr. Grumpy says thank you very much. Now Mr. Grumpy's probably going to make a lunge into the Mercedes grandstand area. Lickle has to see this coming. Didn't give him that much space, but Lickle still has to give him space. Will that spin Lickle round? No, he stays within
was he off track with all 4 tyres though? I'm not sure. Lickle definitely didn't leave much space, but that might have been off the track. But Mr. Grumpy didn't really have a choice, because he was pretty much pushed off the track as Boomer went past Sotty there for P7. Obviously Boomer tries to make as many places as quickly as possible again. Dre has gone past Sotty now, who is in the pit lane now, and Dre is up into P8. Hasn't lost as much time as Boomer has in front of him.
That's true, of course then. So he's now in the pits then, in the Mercedes. He's going to get overtaken by Matt now, who's currently in 13th then. So Matt's...
But the battle for the lead is on. Mr. Grumpy goes down the inside of AMS. Can he fly past him on the straight? Yes, he can. Let's see what Lickle does. Will he be able to take advantage of that as well? Not yet, but he is still very close. But AMS is actually closer to Mr. Grumpy. Will he go for a move to regain the lead? No, he won't. He lets Mr. Grumpy go for first, and that is definitely not what Licker wants to see. And look at Ash Best. He's gaining and gaining, and he's now only 1.4 seconds behind, or 1.5 behind Licker. And before his pit stop, he was more than 3 seconds behind him. So that traffic has definitely helped Ash Best, and might make this fight for the race win a bit more interesting.
Yeah, that is true, of course. This fight is very interesting right now, especially with Ash actually closing up there. AMS could be a very key player right now, as actually starting to pick up the pace there on Bugatti. Oh, as Bugatti's gone completely off there. Bugatti's going to go end up in the wall almost. I didn't see what happened there. He just went completely off. And now Ash is really on the rear end now of Lickle. So if Lickle's not careful, he's going to be overtaken by a Toro Rosso Honda, and that isn't actually the nice thing to see overtaking, especially with the Honda engine.
Yeah, there goes Lickle again. He tries to pass AMS once more. Will he able to make it stick this time? AMS holds it down the inside, so Lickle has to leave the space. He does so as well. And Lickle gets the spot back. Can Ash Best get past AMS now as well to not lose much time? AMS actually lets him go by. And that definitely helped Ash Best. And look how close he is now. He was so far away before the first pit stop, and that traffic definitely helped Ash Best. The traffic was on his side so far in this race.
Yeah, that is true, of course. Now Lickle is in a bit of trouble now because Ash doesn't need to pit. So Ash's on the same strategy as Lickle. So Lickle will have to be careful now and play his cards right if he wants to try and win this race. Especially now with also Mr. Gumpy, who's in the lead, who he still needs to get past, or he can wait till he pits.
Yeah, and Lickle has got 84% of ERS, as Ash Best has only got 60, which is not a low amount, but Lickle just has that little bit more. But Ash will probably try to stay with Lickle as long as he can, and he is definitely gaining on that main straight. He will be too far away for a move, I think. Otherwise it's going to be a Daniel Ricciardo dive, but it's not. Mr. Grumpy outbrakes himself slightly, has lost the gap already to Lickle, which he has built up as he was still stuck behind AMS so far. But this fight for the lead, for the effective lead of this race, is heating up massively right now.
Look at Ash then. Ash is not that far. Oh, Lickle just kept it within the track limits there, just like a millimetre within that white line. But there, Ash with that dirty air from Lickle just has to lift off a little bit. But this is where the Toro Rosso is miles better than the Alpha with its aero package it has.
On the straights it's difficult though. But let's see, can he get a good exit? But Lickle obviously has got the DRS as well and the slipstream. AMS pits in the meantime. Lickle gets the DRS and the slipstream from the Ferrari in front of him as well, so that will help him to defend from the Toro Rosso driver behind him, who is falling back a little bit right now, but he's still inside the 1 second window, currently about 6 tenths behind, now only 5, as he's had a pretty good exit out of turn 3. But Lickle is definitely gaining on Mr. Grumpy right now. He's not able to make a move just yet.
And
in the background we've got Boomer.
Yeah, Boomer makes the move quite easily on Bugatti in the Red Bull. And there you go. Now Boomer is now in 4th. Bugatti now drops to P5 now, as he still hasn't pitted yet. However, AMS has made his pit stop. So, as we will now go back to the top 3 then. Mr. Gumpy, Lickle and Ash fighting for that top spot on the podium. As we're on lap 20 out of 34. There's a lot of laps left of this race.
And, I mean, just look at Ocean. He's taken these mediums for 19 laps. Is he willing to go onto the soft compound for the end, I wonder? I mean, he will lose a lot of positions, and he has to gain a lot of positions back when he pits. So it's going to be very difficult for him to still get points in this race. But Ash Bass is currently very, very close to Lickle. And if you could take track extend to gain a bit of time, that would be the perfect time right now for Ash Best, as he's trying to stay with Lickle, who's now probably going to fly past Mr. Grumpy on the straight. And Ash Best has to do the same if he wants to stay with him. But actually, Lickel has got some difficulties passing the Ferrari driver, even though he's got the DRS and the slipstream. And Ash Best wasn't able to get the position from Mr. Grumpy, who is now up into P2, down into P2, I'm sorry. Will he go for another move on Lickel? No, he won't. And he now probably will hold up Ash Best, which is not what Ash wants to see.
That's true, of course.
Looks like contact.
Well, they've got roughly around about the same ERS, probably Lickel's got a 10% more.
Definitely very close.
Grumpy's in. Mr. Grumpy is in then.
That definitely didn't help Ash. He would have wanted that. Grumpy would have dived.
Well, actually, it could have actually helped him
earlier.
a little bit there. He's actually got DRS with that as well. So it has possibly gained him a little bit.
That's the case. Oh, he's only 4 tenths behind now, Jared. We might see him move on this lap if his exit is actually good. It's similarly good to Lickel's. As we've got yellow flags in the third sector. That is a Haas. That's Lordy.
So Lordy's gone into the wall there, or something, as he's trying to get the car around, as we didn't see a move possibly of Ash then making the move.
No, Ash was too far away on that straight, and you could definitely see how much quicker the Ferrari engine is in comparison to the Honda one. And we've got currently Bugatti closing up to AMS, who are running with the same engine, but obviously Bugatti's lacking. Oh yeah, this race has just got awful for Lordy. Matt Romano passes him, so does Cherry 2 Pie. And Nano Bacon has been passed by Ocean, who's now up into 12 after he made his pit stop. Like I said, he did want to make the soft medium strategy work, and he has to catch up 7.5 seconds to P11 and then 4.7 seconds again to P10. So that's going to be a very tough job to do, but it's definitely not impossible. And in the meantime, Ash has definitely kept up with Lickel. He stays around 4 tenths behind, but he doesn't really gain on the straight.
He's gaining a little bit. It's just because the throwing. Maybe he might go for a lunge, but no, he brakes earlier. Still runs a little bit deep. However, that might be part of the game plan. Ocean sets the fastest lap currently at 1:15.3. Currently in 12th, though, won't get the fastest lap point, but he will stop anybody else getting it.
Let's see that. This could be the battle for the rest of this race right now, Jared. I mean, Ash is not really losing time. He's got 1 lap fresher hards. I don't think that will make too much of a difference, but it's still a bit of a difference. And Ash is definitely able to keep up in this second sector, in that very technical one. As you said, the Toro Rosso is a lot better through that one than the Alpha, but on the straight, the Alpha has just got that way faster engine.
Oh yeah, you are right there. Lordy is in pits now. He's been lapped officially, so he's a lap down. And Ash is really close at this time to Lickel.
Oh yes. If he gets a good exit, that might be the chance for him to take the lead. His exit wasn't perfect. Mr. Grumpy takes the new fastest lap.
Ash has got a lot more ERS.
Pitted.
But he's not using it, which he could go for a lunge. He could have made the move there and possibly tried to pull away, but unfortunately it hasn't worked, as Boomer's not that far behind, and neither is Dre. Boomer's only 5.3 seconds from him, and Dre's only 3 seconds off Boomer.
Yeah, let's keep Mr. Grumpy in mind. He's only 3.3 seconds behind Cowboy right now, and Mr. Grumpy's in P6 on 2 lap up mediums, so he might be able to get back up into the top 5 positions, get some very solid points for the Ferrari team as Ferrari won last week in Silverstone.
Well, the Ferrari drivers actually have won Austria and Silverstone. Carl Manson winning at Austria and Boomer winning at Silverstone. So yeah, chances of Ferrari winning again is slim, of course, but anything can happen. As actually the track's getting a little bit cloudier, I've noticed. It isn't that cloudy where rain's about to spring out, but it has started to darken a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a factor, obviously, but the drivers don't seem like they actually need to still pit for a set of wet tires. But let's see. But look at that. That's such a tactical race for the first position right here, as Ash just stays in lean and non-ERS mode to save ERS. Lickle's got around 60% left, and Ash has got around 80% left, so that is very tactical. I wonder if that is some Monza tactics going on right here, because that's what you usually do in Monza. Just stay in the slipstream, save some ERS, and overtake right before the end.
Yeah, that is true, because could be a tactic there from Ash, and it's working a treat right now, as Lickle is using ERS modes compared to Ash on the straight especially, which isn't helping Lickle's case right now. As long as he, you know, keeps holding him up, he's going to lose a lot more time. As Ash, however, lost a little bit of time there, has gained it back there on the final corner, and is still that far, not that far, as Big C has actually joined the lobby there. I think just probably to keep an eye on everybody. Right now then, Ash then is going to possibly make a move in the next couple of laps or so, because he's going to have to. We're on lap 26 out of 34, so yeah, it's...
And now he's in hot lap ERS mode. Is this the lap where he actually will go for a move? No, it won't. He goes down into non-ERS mode. I think he's just trying to get a good first part of the long straight to really make sure that he keeps up with him on the long straight, and then he goes down just to save some more ERS. But like you said, we're on lap 26 out of 34 now, and it is a very risky game that Ash is playing right now. But like you said as well, it's working quite good so far. I mean, Lickle's only got around 48% of ERS left, as Ash has got 90%, so that's a huge difference.
Yeah, that is true, of course. He's actually now on almost 100%. That's how good Ash is with his ERS, and I've got to give Ash credit. He's doing an amazing job. He didn't look like he was actually in for the win in the race, but with Mr. Grumpy, Bugatti, AMS and Lickle having that battle, it's made Ash catch up, as you said earlier. But Boomer isn't that far off. He's only 5.7 seconds, so these two could get 2 penalties and Boomer could win. That's how easy it can change. It is Germany, of course, as actually Ash there went a bit deep there into turn 2.
Yeah, he now needs to use a bit of his ERS, but he's definitely got enough, and that's his advantage right now. I mean, if he makes a mistake, he just can put the ERS up a little bit, just get the gap closed again, and yeah, Lickle is just basically without a proper defense right now, with his 40% of ERS left, if Ash actually decides to go for a lunge. And in the meantime, Mr. Grumpy goes down the inside of Cowboy and moves up into P5. That's what I told you. He's on fresh medium, so he will be looking to go back into the top 5, and that's what he just did. And I'm sorry that we are missing it, but Ocean and Nana Bacon are actually going back and forth within the last few laps right there, fighting for P12. So no point being awarded there.
Oh, Zlo's got been given a penalty for ignoring blue flags. So, Lordy, if you are watching the stream, let the guys through or you get more penalties. It's simple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite understand, to be honest. I mean, it can definitely be distracting with a ghosting car in front of you. I mean, it could disturb your lines you are taking and stuff, but you're still ghosting, so you're not really having a huge impact on the cars behind. But it seems like Ash first sectors aren't that great anymore. But he does exactly what we said. He puts the ERS up just to be close again, and then he just stays behind and saves the ERS again. And I'd say he'll wait until like lap 31, 32, and then he goes for a move and tries to abuse all his ERS to then get away from him.
Well, that is true, of course, but he's really closing up now, and I think he actually might make it probably a bit earlier now, though, of course. But he has to watch out. Oh, Lickle there exceeding the track limits a little bit. He was off.
Cowboy's gone off. Cowboy's gone off. He's doing donuts as he's trying to get his car back under control, it looks like. And he's retired manually. That's a shame. He was up into P6. And then Callum and AMS were fighting. Callum lost the spot again, as he was for a short amount of time ahead of AMS, I think. But yeah, everyone's just moved up a position who was P7 or lower, so that definitely helps. those guys, and Sutty is actually now up into the points. That will hopefully make the German fans a bit happier here. We've come to the racetrack, to this virtual racetrack, to cheer for the German team, or the only German team, sadly. But yeah, Jared, I mean, Ash's first sectors don't look too great anymore, and he might just need to, you know, use a bit more ERS at this point because Lickel is putting away.
Yeah, he is starting to pull away though, as I did say that I did catch him only a tiny bit over the white line. I don't think he'll be penalised for it, of course, but he did exceed. So he's going to have to be careful. Does he do it again? Just this time keeps within track limits there, so Lickel's probably got the message from his team and just saying, and that's going to annoy Ash, that Cherry now has got through. He isn't the fastest tyre, of course, however.
Yeah, hopefully he will get past Lickel as well, so it's not unfair for one of these drivers. But that's definitely putting Ash off as he's losing more and more time now. But like I said, he's got 95% of ERS. Cherry Tupai picks up the fastest lap of the race so far. He's got 90% of ERS left, so he has got a chance to play with it. But this is definitely distracting from Cherry Tupai. And Lickel actually was a bit wide there into turn 2, sliding a bit. That might be down to the Toro Rosso right there.
Well, actually, this
sure
doesn't help Ash, actually, because Lickel's got DRS with this. So,
yeah,
Ash will be fuming.
Cherry is not really helping his teammate here, is he?
No, it's kind of a, you know, it's a silly scenario where Cherry wants possibly the fastest lap. If he wanted the fastest lap, I would say back off completely and let these two fight. But
just as a quick note, though, sorry to interrupt you, but Callum goes round the outside of AMS in the meantime. They're going side by side into the hairpin. AMS leaves the space and keeps his spot. Very nice defending there. Can Callum fight back though in front of the Mercedes grandstand? Will he be able to overtake a Mercedes powered car? No, he won't.
Have a look. Ash is almost out of DRS range then.
Oh, he's playing it very risky right now. Maybe he knows about penalties we don't know about. I don't want to check right now because I want to keep it as a surprise.
Ooh, Ash almost loses the rear end there, actually.
Yeah,
Ash
that was really
activate
close.
DRS. Has he got a DRS failure?
I hope he hasn't.
Maybe this is why he's backed off completely. Maybe his DRS is completely failed. He's out of DRS range now then.
Oh, he now definitely needs to use his ERS. Otherwise, this is game over for him as Callum Anderson picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's still very close to AMS. Maybe he's able to pass him on this lap. We'll definitely keep an eye on the gap between Lickel and Ash. Ash is catching back up right now. And Cherry Tupai gets a 5-second time penalty. There goes Callum Anderson, makes the switch back towards the left as he was making AMS think that he would go for the inside, but he went for the outside, so he pretended to make a different move than he actually did. And Bugatti is just waiting in line as well for those drivers to make a mistake while they are fighting. And Bugatti is on the freshest tyres right now. He's on 1 lap fresher tyres than AMS is, and Callum is on 21 lap old hards. Those won't feel all too great.
Yeah, that is true, of course, as AMS is in 6th on those mediums, especially 11 laps. Those means we'll start to die off very soon, actually. That's probably why Callum Anderson and Bugatti are that close. And Ash has lost the battle then against Lickel. Gap now 1.2 seconds.
We'll definitely need to ask him in the interviews if that was all part of a plan or something. Maybe he still wins the race on pens, who knows? But he might, from our perspective right now, it looks like he just miscalculated the whole situation and maybe risked it a bit too much, because he definitely was close enough at some stages to get past Lickel, but he didn't decide to go for a move. He decided to stay in non-ERS mode and save more and more ERS. But why would you save ERS if you can't use it? And his teammate is not really helping, as I think Lickel is getting DRS every single lap from his Toro Rosso teammate, who now dives into the pit lane.
So maybe we might see a last lap dash then from Ash. Never know, anything can happen, as Cam had a bad exit there through turn 11, and now he's in trouble with Bugatti, not that far behind us. We did actually see an attempt of an overtake into the hairpin of turn 6, so it's right now anyone's ball game. Callum Anderson, AMS, or Bugatti could take 6th, 7th and 8th. So that is Cherry then coming back out on track now, possibly to go for the new fastest lap, but the current fastest lap heralded by him actually with a 1:14.5 there. He's currently not in the fastest lap points scenario.
Just as a quick note, Mr. Grumpy is very close to Duray as well, so he might go for a move on this lap. Yes, he does. Down the inside, he goes a very late move. Slight contact made. A bit clumsy. Some tyre rubbing going on. Will he let Duray back past? No, he won't. He gets the position on his fresher and quicker mediums, and that's him up to P4. Ash has closed up, but he doesn't use his ERS yet, Jared. I'm very confused.
Well, that is very interesting actually. When will he use it? He's not in DRS range, so maybe he's just trying to save his tyres. Maybe he's thinking Little's going to have a puncture or something.
But it's going to be the last lap now. I mean, he's only in low ERS mode. I mean, what is he planning? He's in non-ERS mode now. I'm not sure. I'm now actually counting on penalties, because even though I didn't see them popping up for Lickle, there might still be a penalty for him. Otherwise, it just wouldn't make any sense for Ash to stay behind and to save more and more ERS. I mean, he's down into none again, and Ocean has retired after his race-long battle with Nano Bacon. And I think that's the fight for the victory basically over, but the fight for P6 definitely isn't. Callum is very close to AMS again. It's the last lap. It's all or nothing for Callum. He tries to go around the outside again. Does he go for a switchback? No, he tries to stay on the outside. He maybe should have gone for the switchback, but he didn't decide to do so, so he stays behind. Will he go for a opportunistic lunge down the inside here? No, he doesn't, and he stays behind. But
here comes
if you
Lickle
want
then.
to, yeah.
Through the final couple of corners. Will he get the win then? Because I don't believe either of these two got penalties. But here comes Lickle then to the line, takes the win. Ash takes second then, so no penalties at all there. Boomer then comes third after a
second podium in a row.
There's a second podium for a row, as Mr. Gumpy, who people said he may win, is in fifth actually. Dre takes fourth. AMS will finish in sixth, it looks like, or will penalties change that? So here he comes then. AMS sixth, Cameron seventh, but Bugatti jumps both of them by penalties. He was up to P6 then.
They both had 6 seconds of time penalties. Ooh. And fair play, both Williams, very nice job from them. I mean, they started so far down at P18 and P19, and they finished at P6 at P9. Very impressive job by them. And Sutty in the Mercedes, in the only German car on the grid, takes the last point
as he comes then from
the day.
Comes across the line to round up the race results. Sutty then took 10th, Nano took 11th.
I gotta say, Jared, I'm a bit disappointed with the fight for the victory. I'm not sure what was going on there, to be honest. I really thought we'd have a great fight upon our hands for this race win, but Ash just kept saving ERS and saving, and he never used it. I thought there was like a tactical game going on between him and Lico, but Ash just never went for a move. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, that is true, of course. Lickle does win then, and Ash second. It's a very strange battle, but Lickle does win it nonetheless, with Boomer taking his second podium in a row then. As we'll get ready to interview the top three. You will be taking Lickle's interview. As Lickle then does take the win with first, Ash in second, Boomer in third, Dre fourth, Mr. Grumpy in fifth, Bugatti is in sixth, AMS in seventh, Callum Anderson in 8th in the Red Bull, as he did get a podium last week, and unfortunately this time he's in 8th. Greeny in 9th, good result from him after where he was started. Sutty in 10th, Nano Bacon 11th, From in 12th, Matt in 13th, Cherry Pie in 14th, and the DNFs are Ushin, Callboy, Lordy, Paresh, Dino, Tim, all DNF in today's race. And the only guys who didn't actually have penalties was the top two, actually, I believe. Yep, top two, and fourth and sixth.
For me, driver of the day is clearly Bugatti. He's had a very quiet race. He wasn't on the stream very often, but he did a great job coming from P18 on the grid to finish P6 in the end. That's very impressive, especially in the Williams car.
Yeah, that is true as well. With a big guy, I'm going to give him the drive there as well, starting from 18th and finished 6th. It's a good result from him. And Felix, could you just give me a few? Could you suggest the top 3? Dead quickly.
Yes, if I quickly can rejoin the session, actually. I actually have the players. I don't know if I've got everyone in the friends list, but let me quickly try to do that.
Yeah,
hopefully everyone's still in the session.
Well, Lickle is.
Yeah, Lickle definitely is. So is Ash right now.
And then Boomer.
Right, there we go. Lickle is suggested. Well.
I think it was S Boomer 80 or something like that.
So hopefully the other guys will join us soon. Ah, great. Alright, I'm very sorry about...
I'll invite the first 2 then. Yep.
Because otherwise I won't find him anytime soon. Alright, let me just check. I think I spelled it right. Why didn't it show up? That's
I'll invite him and see if I can get it. As Lickle has joined, so if you can get ready to interview him while I quickly find it. Oh, have you? Alright then, suggest him.
Suggest him. So I'm very sorry for it taking that long, but
that's fine.
That's how it is sometimes with the names.
Okay, we'll wait till he fully loads for you. Is he loaded? Right, okay then, Matt. You can start now.
Then I would say we start with you, Lico. First of all, congratulations on P1 in this race. Looked like a very, very strong start from you on the medium compound, going up into the lead very early in the race. But then it looked like the traffic was really costing you a lot of time. What was your reaction while you were driving, when you were stuck behind those guys?
Yeah, as you can imagine, anyone stuck in traffic when you would have had a good lead, it gets increasingly frustrating. Being stuck behind all the cars, AMS is honestly I hate being behind AMS. He's a hard defender. So, yeah, being behind them really did not benefit me. As you saw, Ash gained like 4 seconds on me from me just being stuck in the traffic with me, Grumpy, AMS, Bugatti. It was just, I tried to be careful, didn't want to lock up and damage my wing. It was just more of a thing of being careful, picking up no penalties, and navigate my way through the traffic as cleanly as I could.
Yeah, I mean, Ash definitely gained a lot of time. You had about a 3.8 second lead or 4 second lead when you came into the pit lane, and then Ash caught massively, and then afterwards, as you cleared the traffic, Ash was very close to you and definitely had a lot of ERS left, but he never seemed to really use it. And were you expecting him to attack at any point, or were you very confident that you could hold that lead and bring it over the line?
Originally, I was kind of worrying because I had, until about lap 28, I didn't get any like corner cutting or exceeding track limit penalties. So I thought, oh, have I got an issue where none of my things are popping up on top of the screen? So he might just be sitting back not getting a penalty because I might have a penalty, but it turned out it didn't. once I got confirmation, and from then, and if it wasn't for the slipstream DRS, I don't think he would have kept up. So I was just keeping as calm as I could, and knew I had to pace over Ash to just keep myself in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, what was really really concerning for us was that you were using your ERS actually, but Ash wasn't really. He always on the straight was in non-ERS mode for the second half of it, and we thought he might just play the tactical game like you do in Monza, just stay behind, sit in the slipstream, and just go for an overtake within the last few laps. But then there was never a point where he really used all of his ERS, so that was very concerning. But definitely showed some good pace, but you qualified in P4. Obviously, it was the top 3 being on the soft compound. So, were you, before the race even started, were you like confident? What was your plan for the start of the race? Did you want to get past them as quickly as possible, or did you just want to keep it clean and let them pit first?
It was a mixture. I think it was Throme ahead of me. I was worried about him in case he'd make a mistake at his old age, could lose the rear, catch me out. But the one I was just focusing on after that was Grumpy, because, you know, Grumpy in a Ferrari, he's going to be ridiculously fast. So I just had to make sure I cleared them as carefully as possible, and then I just sit with Grumpy. Grumpy, he caught me out a few times, because when I did get a move like Death State into the hairpin, the next corner he had so much straight line speed, he just come down my inside, and it was just like, just go away.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw that there were some difficulties with the traffic, but it seemed like you kept a cool head. And yeah, with the race win today, and not the fastest lap, but the full 16 points for the actual race itself being taken, do you reckon you can show something similar next week when we are heading to Belgium?
Yeah, I need to do a bit of practice. What I've got on my mind now is the championship. I believe I'm 4 points behind Bugatti coming into Belgium, so I think if I do carry it out, I know I'll have a Williams next week, because I've just had an Alpha, so I've just got to make sure I keep doing as best as I can, hope for a little mess up, and hopefully just keep delivering performances is all I can do at the moment, really.
Alright, will that be your mindset in general? Just thinking about the long-term game, the long-term championship, just being a bit more careful than when you have got nothing to lose, and you know, just thinking about the championship always in your mind?
It'll be a race by race process, really. Try to avoid things like I did in Silverstone at turn 1, where I got involved in an incident. Try to keep it clean and see what I can do. I imagine the Williams won't be as bad as other tracks around Belgium, so got to utilise that the most I can, make sure I get no penalties, of course, and keep doing that for race on race, really, and see what happens.
Alright, then congratulations on your win tonight.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck for next week and for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Good job on the comms, you two.
Thank you.
Well then, just doing that little interview there, local. As we know, we'll go on board with Boomer. As before we do go on board him, we will invite Ash, I believe it was. You suggested again? Okay, he might not join, but we will go on Boomer. Well then, Boomer, you got another podium today. You got
quite surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah, you got a win last week. You got a podium in today as you in the Red Bull, so the straight line speed is a bit different in the Ferrari. How was the race in your point of view, and the strategy calls and everything, with how everything played out? Did it go to plan, or?
No, I didn't have any plan. I did, I think, 2 laps of practice, and I didn't even know what the strategy was and what the best to do was. So I just went into the race a little bit blunt and not knowing what I should do, but I saw everyone going on the hards and qualifying, and then a final run on the medium, so I figured out, well, a one stop is the best thing to do. And yeah, it went well in the first part of the race. I was a little bit late on the brakes in turn 2, so did manage to avoid some some people there and not causing some mayhem, but the general pace was quite good. I was similar with Jirebe, and for like the whole race I was like, it felt like I was in a battle with Jirebe for, I hope, the top 5 position. But then people people made mistakes, and there were some people on the 2-stopper in front of me, so suddenly I was like in the top 3, and I was steady going and hoping that I could catch the top 2, but they were like too quick for me today. So when I figured that out, it was just my goal to be in front of Jirebe with a margin of 3 seconds, because I knew he didn't have any penalties. And Rugby were coming up in the end of the race. He really did a good job, I think. But I managed to stay in the podium position, so I'm very glad about this.
Oh yeah, it's good. You had a good result, especially with the VSC, of course. I believe you did pit under that, and it was actually a very good call for you, because you and Dre were at the top, and it looked like you weren't going to get a podium at that point. But then, as soon as that VSC came out, your look just instantly changed. You had the fresher compounded tyre, and you just had a lot of pace, and you got third in the end with that. But as I did say last week, your championship, I believe I said, you having a championship fight, I think you said possibly not, but maybe near the top. I could get up there, possibly, if you could get near the top 3. Do you think that's still possible if you keep racing week by week?
Yeah, I remember what I said last week, and it changed a little bit, of course, because there's a higher probability that I will keep continuing doing races in a Red Bull than in a Ferrari, in my opinion now. And if I can manage to do this kind of performances in the Red Bull, like fighting for the podium, then I give myself a higher probability to be a little bit in the mix for the championship. I don't say I will be really competing for it, but I hope people will take me into account.
Okay then, well, I ain't got any more questions to ask, actually, because you've answered every single one of them. But Felix, have you got a question to ask Bimmer?
Not really. I think everything was covered in the answers.
Okay then, well, the final question is, which is next week track? What track's it next week?
It's Belgium.
It's Belgium. At Spa then, where do you feel that you're going to be? Do you think, if with the Red Bull, of course, do you think you could get another podium? It is a long track, especially on the straights. The Ferrari and Mercs may have the advantage, but if you're in the Red Bull, of course, next week, do you think you could be up there, or is that just not part of the plan?
I think I can be up there, because when I see the lack of practice I had for today, and then compared to Belgium, which is most of the times a slightly better track for me, so I think I will be up there. But it would be nice if there is some rain, because I'm way better in the rain in Belgium for some weird reasons. But I hope for some rain, yeah. Then I can compete at the top 3, top 5, I hope.
Well, that's good to hear, and hopefully you do have a good result in Belgium, and congratulations on your podium position in Germany then, and 2 podiums in a trot, maybe make it a 3rd, and congratulations, of course.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll hopefully see you again next week at Spa.
Yeah, I hope I will be here too. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, anytime. Well then, Felix, it's been a very interesting race then, as I believe Ash isn't in the interviews. No, he's not. So Ash, I don't think he's making it today. But Felix, have you got anything to add before we do the closing procedure of the stream?
Not really. I mean, it's sad that we didn't get Ash in the interviews, because, like I said, I would love to ask him what his exact plan was, because I think we both thought that he was playing the tactical game and would use his ERS actually at one point, but he never used it, stuck to P2, and yeah, Nico got his breakthrough victory for this season in FP, and I think we are set for a very interesting final few races of the season.
Yeah, that is true, of course. We've only got a few more rounds left of the season with Spa next week. It's going to be very interesting. Hopefully we don't see a lot of crashes in Eau Rouge, but anything can happen, of course. It is Spa, and it is F1. But this has been PSGL Season 25, the FP tier, round 7 at Germany. I've been your commentator, IRL Neon. My co-commentator, Felix, has been here as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Anytime. And if you guys want to see more FP content, join us again next week. Same time, of course, at Spa on Tuesday. But if you want to see any of the other tiers, F6, I believe it's called, is on Thursday. And then F5, 4th, and F3 on Sunday. And F2 and F1 on Monday. So if you guys do want to watch them, go on the PSGL channel and have a look. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.